Good morning. In this video, we are going to explain about the big O notation. As first, let's see the figure of big O notations. In this figure, along x-axis, we are having our n, that is the size of input, and along the y-axis, we are having the value of functions fn, cgn. Here n naught the minimum value. We have two function fn and cgn intersect. It means they are equal at the point n naught, which is the minimum value of n. Here you can see that the cgn is a larger function and fn is a smaller function. Then we define a family of function order of gn's that is equal to fn, such that if there exists a positive constant c and n naught, such that for all n those are greater than or equal to n naught, we have a relation that 0 is less than equal to fn is less than equal to cgn. Then this relation we can prove in this. If now we have some properties of big O notation, that fn is equal to theta gn. This implies that fn must be order of gn. It means if our function is satisfying the relation with theta, then it must satisfy relation with the big O notations. Big O notation is also called the upper bound. Now I have to change. I have to go for next slide. Now we are having some example of these notations. For example, if we are having an plus b is a linear equation, then its big O function is n square. How this is possible? We have to understand the relations. Then again, second example, 3n cube is equal to order of n cube for appropriate c n. Let's see another notation that's called omega notation. Omega notation is just a reverse of big O notation. In this function, you can see in picture diagram that cgn is the smaller function, fn is a greater than function, n naught is the same here. We can say a function is fn equal to omega of gn if it satisfies the condition such that 0 is less than cgn is less than equal to fn. So it's a reverse relation between omega and big O. This is called lower bound and big O called upper bound. So the same property is satisfied by the omega notation. If fn is equal to theta gn, then it must be satisfy the relation that fn is equal to omega gn. So we can say theta gn is a subset of omega gn. Here are some examples. That's order of root n is equal to omega log n. So after studying three relation or three notations, we can find a relation between them that in theta gn, fn lie between two functions c1 gn and c2 gn, and in big O notation, cgn is always greater than or equal to fn. In omega gn, fn is greater than or equal to cgn. So here is a theorem that if there are two functions gn and fn, those are non-negative, then fn is equal to theta gn if and only if fn is equal to order of gn and fn is equal to omega of gn. It means if our function is satisfying the property with of big O and omega, then we can say that it must be satisfy the property of theta notations. Thank you so much.